How's your morning?
My morning's cool. It's cool. Matter of fact, it's great.
All
My
right.
morning is great. That's what it is.
Well, we are.
How's yours?
Good. I am on the go with just a phenomenal actor, rapper, and singer. Yes, and he is definitely a name to know. If you don't know him, shame on you. He is no other than Algee Smith. Some of you may know him from just the widely acclaimed biopic that just aired on BET not too long ago of New Edition, which we all love. And he was Mr. Ralph Tresvant. So you definitely want to make sure that you go and check out his latest project, which comes out on August 4th, which is no other than Detroit, the movie. He plays Larry, and I'm going to talk to him a little while and let you understand why his role is so important and why you need to definitely go and see this movie, and then find out what else he has coming up, because he is rising to the top quicker than most people could ever say. And I'm so excited because he's actually from Saginaw, Michigan. Right here in Michigan. Hello, LG. How are you?
What's up? I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. And I'm wonderful now because there's something about you as a person that comes off very organic and very unique. You are you're very humble. But you have this energy about yourself that just literally lights up a room. Whether you're smiling or not, there's just an energy shift. What would you say to that when people say that about you? Because I've talked to a lot of people in the last few days, and your name comes up, and the same thing comes up each and every time. Yikes. So what do you say when people say that about you?
That's a lot to say something back to. I don't know. It's really humbling. But I would just credit my parents for that. Growing up, that's what I was rooted in. That's what I was grounded in. That's really the only thing I know. So it's not anything that I try to do. Okay. It's just kind of, my mom is a super spiritual person. My dad has always just guided me the right way. And so I don't know. I just got good energy, I guess. But I know why I do what I do. So that gives me energy as well. So I have purpose behind what I do. I'm not just an actor or a singer. Like, I actually want to do a lot of stuff, not just for my community, but for the world. So I guess that's why. Now,
speaking about that, and then we'll get into the movie, one of the purposes of my show is to definitely inspire other people. And how intricate or how important would you say a relationship with God has been for you, even in your success?
Well, how important has my relationship with God been for me? My relationship with God has been very, very pivotal for me, very vital, I would say. It is, that's the one thing that keeps me rooted. When I was going through a season when I wasn't getting jobs and I wasn't, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I was still signed to an agency, but nothing was happening. It was like, how can I still be okay with myself even when I hear those no's, even when this is the only thing that you want to do, or just whatever I'm going through. I've been homeless at points. My family was sleeping in the car together, like in an expedition, like, That has been my anchor. That has been my whole family's anchor. And I guess that's like, we can really owe it to my mom. Like, she's that anchor in the whole family. Like, everything that I know is just, is where I can find my peace. That's where I'm comfortable at. Anywhere I can find my peace. And that's what I look for, just in any situation.
Now, to kind of segue from there, there's a part in the movie where you're up against the wall and, Will Poulter, who plays Crust, is very antagonizing, and he tells you to, pray, sing. And then you broke out in song with this amazing song, to God with your whole heart. How was that scene for you? Because I understand that you had to Catherine Bigelow, who was the producer and director, she was so amazing, I guess, in getting you guys in this space so that it was more organic and not just acting. Right. What was that scene like for you?
I'm going to be completely honest. When Catherine first approached me, she was like, I want you to sing a song in this scene. And in my head, I'm like, sing a song? Like, while I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, while I'm
I'm getting beat.
Like, you want me to just bust out in the song? But that moment and that take when I did it, that was a real moment. I was really talking to God. Like, it was no fabrication. That was really me I felt like that was in my secret place, and I just bust out, and it was just like that one-on-one time. And so that moment for me was really special. That was the one moment on set. And thank you for bringing that up, because that's the one moment on set that I really was probably just connected the most. Like the most.
And you know what? And so many people are going to feel that. And the reason why I brought it up is because I have not been able to get that part out of my head since I've seen the movie, because it sounded like it was coming from your feet. Like it was coming from your soul. And I couldn't. And that's when I started crying. And I'm like, okay, I cannot watch any more of this movie. So I thank you for that. And people will be able to see or feel or connect with that, because it felt real.
Right.
It didn't feel like acting. Like someone said, just go ahead and sing, now go.
Right.
It wasn't that. I have a question that I've been wondering since I've seen the movie. First of all, explain who you are in this movie, and then I'll ask the question.
Okay, so I play a guy by the name of Larry Cleveland Reed. And he's a ladies' man, of course. He is a musician. All he wants to do is make it to the top with his craft. He gets caught in between. It's a horrible night. He goes to the Algee motel where he thinks he can find safety after he realizes the riots has broken out. And this is really the worst place that he could be. And so he has to juggle this and try to gain his redemption at the end.
With that, Larry is one of the very intricate, or would have been one of the very intricate lead singers of what is known now by Motown and the world as the Dramatics.
Yeah.
One thing that I wondered at the end and during the movie was what made, and I'm not sure when you spoke to him, what caused him not to utilize what he went through to propel him into his success and to still go after his dream and not allow them to still win in a sense, because what he was passionate about, he wasn't able to go forward in based upon someone doing something so heinous. Did he ever speak to that at all?
You know, that's a really good question, actually. With all due respect to Larry, I'm not sure.
Okay.
The only thing that I could think is you have to kind of realize where he was at that night. So he had just left the Fox Theater. He was with his best friend. His best friend didn't make it out with him. His best friend was his one encourager. If you can see it in the movie, Fred was telling him, "You're gonna make it. You're gonna get a record deal. Look at me. You're gonna." That was his motivation.
Yeah.
So when he lost that, not only did he not want to be around the people that did that to him, but he didn't want to. He probably just didn't want to put himself back in that state of having to think. Because what if he was trying to go on stage again and he needed motivation? The first thing that comes to his mind is Fred.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly, but that would be my guess.
Now, when he ran off, was there any one point that he thought, okay, maybe I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna wait to see my friend, or let me go back, or let me send help? Did he ever speak to that, or how he felt afterwards?
He didn't. He told me that he thought Fred made it out.
Wow. And
he was in such bad shape. It actually, the movie paints it a certain way, but he collapsed before he went all that way. And so he got picked up and taken. He was out of his mind. He was unconscious. So he couldn't really, he thought Fred made it out, but he couldn't really go back and, be waiting around the corner and looking for him, which is a hard thing.
And I'm glad you said that, because I did my research as well. And I know that it's going to portray very well on screen that you were definitely, you definitely go through a lot. But in the movie, it's a tad bit downplayed from the research, because his skull was literally cracked
his
open.
skull was cracked, yeah.
And that is huge. And I'm sure that plays a part as to why he kind of did what he did. But what was so awesome is that he turned to wanting to be a choir director. He didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
I guess he just chose to do what he was gifted to do for God. Did he speak to that?
Yeah, and if you see, just to speak on the skull crack, there is a moment when I'm on that wall and I do get hit in the head with that gun.
Yes, you do.
And then when I end up in the hospital, I'm wrapped up.
Yes.
So that was kind of paying homage to that in a sense.
Yes.
But the fact of, I think it's very powerful that he's still singing, but he's just in church.
Yeah.
That's where he found his peace. That's where he found his redemption.
Yes.
He was like, I don't want to go back and sing at the clubs. I don't want to do that. Like, the police are down there. Now, the police may have been the bigger spectrum, but inside, I look at the peace as the bigger spectrum. Like, maybe he didn't have as much peace going on stage at the Fox Theater as he does today. Yeah. And that's a crazy thing to look at. It's like something that can be so dark, he found peace through that. Yeah.
Well, I'm very sure that when people see this movie, August 4th, I just speak that there's going to be many awards, Academy Awards, things that are won by you because you played such a powerful role. And what's so funny is, for me, watching it, honestly, I didn't think that your role was going to be the role. Like, I was looking for.
That's the mind trick.
And you, sir, did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. And the movie takes you it starts off and ends you in a place that you didn't think that you were going to arrive at the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. So, what do you want people to take away or to leave with after they see this film?
What do I want people to take away when they see the film? There's a lot of things I want people to take away. One main thing, I'll name three. Mm-hmm. So first, we want people to feel exactly how they feel. I don't want you to try to sugarcoat your emotions. If you feel angry when you walk out of that theater, that's okay. If you feel confused, that's all right. We're going to have both sides of people that love the movie and people that don't like the movie, and we know that. The only thing that we're trying to do is educate and also get empathy. And so we want people who don't know about the Algee Motel or even any of the rebellions that took place in the United States. I didn't know personally that there were over 350 rebellions that took place in a matter of like 4 years. Yeah. And that tells you something about the time. Like, there was a certain energy in this country that it was just a certain weird wave. Yeah. But we want to educate people and then also get empathy from people who don't understand. When people ask, why are they doing that? Why are they rioting? Why are they burning down there? Because you have to look at all this oppression. You have to look at someone who's been trying to say something for over 400 years and it's not being heard, or people who've been trying to say something, I should say. So we just want to educate, get empathy, and then start a dialogue on what we can start doing in these little communities that we see are being affected by our crazy judicial system.
Yeah. 50 years ago, to the date that I saw it, those acts took place, and 50 years later, unfortunately, we're still going through a lot of the same things. Yeah. How do you address, or how would you speak to those who are younger, the millennials, those who are going through that now, to help them understand? What would you say? Because you're very right in saying there's a lot of things that movie shed light on that we didn't know. Because honestly, for me, been in Detroit, born and raised in Detroit, I had no idea about this story ever existing. Yeah, had no clue. Right. And I've talked to many people since then, in the media and outside of the media, had no clue. So what would you say to them?
Great question. I would say to every, I guess you call us the millennials, yeah? Yes, to every millennial. Yeah. I would say that this is history. This is the history that they didn't teach us in school. This is American history. It's not black or white history. This is something that we need to know as people so we can figure out, so we can actually have the conversation. People don't want to have that conversation. But the great thing about the millennials is a lot of us, we don't see color. Right. If you look at what's going on today, people just want peace. People just want to be happy and have fun. It's not, it's not the same mindset for us. I'll say a lot of us millennials as it was back then. Right. People are tired of that. And so this is for us to know what happened, for us to start addressing it more and not just let it keep going on as we see with Philando, as we see with Laquan McDonald, as we see with everybody else, and start really addressing it, because we need, to be honest, we need white people and black people addressing it. We don't need the black community addressing it. Mm-hmm. We need white people with power and positions to be addressing it as well. And so that's why I applaud Catherine so much and Mark Bowe, because they put themselves on the line for this. Yes. They have such a huge status, especially in Hollywood. And it's like you coming and telling a story about America that a lot of people are not going to want to hear. No. But it's the truth, and the truth is good at any time. So
the truth shall set you free. Yeah. And my prayer is that it will definitely do that. And And that's so funny because your peer, Will Poulter, who played Crust, he actually said those exact same words yesterday before in the press meeting before you walked in. He said those exact same words. So definitely you guys are on one accord. To switch gears a little bit, you, Algee Smith, Ralph Tresvant, BET, New Edition. How were you? Where were you, and how did you feel when you got the call that said, "Hey, we need you"? And not only do we need you, New Edition, the true New Edition, they need you to play Ralph Tresvant. How did that make you feel?
So when I got the call, I was in LA. Just to give a little backstory, I went to LA December 2015. I went with almost no money in my pocket. I went out there. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I ended up staying with one of my homies that I figured out was out there, and I was just living on the couch for a while. And at that time, I was getting no's. I would go to these auditions. I had already auditioned for New Edition back in Atlanta.
Wow.
I didn't hear anything back, so I came to LA. I was like, I'm going to just try the LA grind. I think within like a month of being out in LA, I got the call for the callback. And I went to it. That was the longest callback I've ever been to. It was 10 hours.
Oh, God.
A 10-hour callback.
Oh, wow.
I had to sit in the room for 10 hours. And that process really let me know what I was trying to get myself into. Because from there on, we had 8 hours a day rehearsals.
Wow.
I'm talking about sometimes we get 30 minutes lunch, if that.
Wow.
But it's right back at it, 8 hours. So it was an honor for me to even be considered to play someone who's been touring the world since they were like 12 years old.
Yes.
And he does this. Like he knows it like the back of his hand. And so when I got that call, it was just amazing, obviously. And everybody in the project is just, those are my guys, man. Like, those are my brothers for real.
You guys were phenomenal, and you guys started a buzz worldwide though with this. I personally had no idea. I knew I loved New Edition, but I didn't understand that the world loved New Edition.
Crazy, right?
Oh my goodness!
You know what's the biggest blessing for me though? Just to see that this project was used to touch multiple generations. So we touched the New Edition fans that were there from the start. We touched the millennials. And now you see little kids that are 2 and 3 years old on social media doing New Edition dances. Like they know them full.
Yes.
And so it's like to be able to touch that many people or that many generations, that's how you know something is spiritually bigger than what you thought it was.
Okay, so last question, because I know you have a very busy schedule.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. What's next for Algee? I know you just dropped an album.
I did. I just dropped my EP. It's called Listen. You can get that anywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, you know.
Okay.
Next, I'm about to start working on another film in a couple weeks. I can't say what it is, but it's a huge film with a very moving role that I'm blessed to have. At this point, I'm just trying to keep it going, push my music and my acting. I don't want anything to fall or be less than. I want my music to be respected just as my acting career is respected. So I'm just working hard to do that. Try to get these videos out and get the visuals done and just keep grinding.
Well, you are doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
And we definitely wish you all the best. We thank you so much for being on the go with me. And make sure that you check out Algee Smith August 4th in Detroit. He plays an amazing role and is definitely going to impact the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On the go. I appreciate y'all so much.